Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Rulebook RX. I'm Dee, and today we're going to be taking a look at QE by ALLPLAY, which used to be BoardGameTables.com. Both of these were fresh from a Kickstarter that just happened a little bit ago, so we're going to be talking about all of the different graphic design elements, the layout design, UI, UX that all went into this game to help make it more teachable. Anything that they use to teach the from the rulebook on down to the game. We're going to be looking at all of those kinds of things. How hard is it to teach? How hard was it to learn? Some of you guys might even be wondering, what does QE mean? And it means quantitative easing, right? Right here it says, by definition, QE, quantitative easing, is a monetary policy in which the central bank prints new money in order to buy government bonds and other financial assets to stimulate the economy. So the long and short of this game is, it takes place right after another big catastrophic 100-year crash that seems to be happening more and more often, and how the government can spend more money. So in this game, you're just kind of, money is just a number in this, which I guess if some people believe that too. So you're just kind of printing off more money and trying to get these commodities and infrastructures and housing and agriculture and all the different industries to finally win the game with points and all of that jazz. So without further ado, let's take a look at the board and anything that comes in the games, and we'll be back to talk about what I think in just a moment. Alright, well here we have everything set up that comes with the game. I've got things set up right over here that come with the main game, and then over here is the new Commodities expansion. This right here are extra Kickstarter ones. I believe it was art by Ian O'Toole. So we'll put these back over here for now, and we'll talk about everything else on the table. First, I want to talk about the rulebook. We have two rulebooks here. This one's going to be for Commodities. We'll get to that in a bit. And this one is for the base game. As you can see, everything is kind of laid out just like they lay out all of the other ALLPLAY rulebooks. 4 pages, just about the same size. Something I want to say is the font on this one is so small. It looks to be about 12-point font. That might not be a huge deal for some of you, but for those of us with aging eyes, and especially mine, this is incredibly hard to read. So there's some accessibility issues there. But taking a look at how everything is laid out here, they do have really nice visual representation of everything, how you would set up the game, everything that comes with it. So that's really nice. As always, I'd always like to see different colors put in, because that would help to know which sections you're looking for. Everything's just kind of the same color, same fonts, and that, like, the consistency there is good. Going to the next page. You know, I do like the graphic elements up at the top here. You have the different world denominations. But you have gameplay, how everything goes. That's really nicely laid out, and I like the way that it jumps from one side to the other. For those of you that do UI UX, this Z pattern formation, it catches your eye, it breaks up the text, it makes it easier to read these small chunks of information. So that's something that this has going on for it. Over on this side of the page, we have the end of the sale, and then how that scoring works. It's a bit much right here. That's kind of what I would call maybe a wall of text. I think they did the best they could with this, but it's still a little chunky. This rulebook might have done well with 1-2 extra pages, scoring examples and rules and credits down here. Once again, Anka Gavril is the artist here. I believe that they are the one who does a lot of the ALLPLAY rulebooks. I think a lot of this is really nice. I just wish they would break the 4-page format for some of these. On here with the scoring example, this is really nice. It shows some of this, everything blocked off here, and then this, you know, special rules and tied games and stuff like that. We actually had a tied situation, so it was nice to see, like, okay, tied really big. That was easy to find mid-game. So yeah, I think overall, you know, other than the font size being so small, this really could have dealt with having more pages, because that could have made the font at least a 14-point font, something that might be a little easier to read, maybe even a 16-point font. I understand that Board Game Tables or ALLPLAY has a graphic design aesthetic for their rule books. I just wish that they would be able to break that a little more. It seems like they're kind of stuck to that, where a game like this might have done well with 6 pages. That's just my critique for that. I'm going to show you here the Commodities rulebook. Oh, the quality of this rulebook, it's fine. It's just that glossy magazine style that we've kind of grown accustomed to. This one as well is a glossy style. It is just front and back, but that's, you know, and it kind of folded down like this when it came in the box, so that's fine. I almost would have preferred a little more something to it, but that's fine. I mean, it explains the rules fine enough. I was able to kind of grasp what was going on here. But we've got kind of everything that we're seeing before. An interesting choice here, instead of having the denominations, it uses the different commodity types up here, like their different iconography, and I think that's kind of clever. But it does have a cohesive feel next to it, without that you still know that this is going to be for the Commodities expansion. Once again, that font is very, very small, and just front and back, it has a good final scoring here. And the infrequently used rules is always nice to reference. Credits down here, once again, Anka Gavriel and Luke Adams. So now we're going to be taking a look at the game components themselves and find out what they're doing right and what they do to help the players learn the game. Here we've got the game board itself. Here we have the different pucks that come with the game. There are many different varieties of these. They all have a different nation at the top, along with a value of victory points and an industry value at the bottom. Everyone's going to get this one's Japan, so every player will get a check, one of the nation borders here, and then secretly they're going to get one of these industry types. So that's what they're going to be looking for, is the industry type and the nation type, to be able to make choices on how to bet. You're going to be making bets on these nice double-sided checks here. Once again, these were the I believe Ian O'Toole versions right here, but these ones look pretty nice. They all have a little representation of what that nation biggest draws are. So here you have those nice arches right here in Japan. This is the Japan board. So everything is really nicely laid out there to kind of show the cohesiveness between the nations here. So you kind of know what you're looking for, as well as having these nice iconography along with the color that's associated with that industry type here. So that's everything that comes with the game. You also get some of these dry erase markers. I want to mention here, when we did play our version of the game, these markers weren't working great, so that is a usability issue right there. You know, those are pretty fine-tipped markers right here. Let's take a look at one of them. You know, finding a dry erase that kind of matches that type might be difficult, where most dry erase markers are pretty fat, and they'll have, you know, difficulty writing in these small sections here. So that's a little bit of usability that I just wanted to discuss there. But for now, let's go over and talk about the commodities. So in the Commodities expansion, you're going to have this nice little commodities board that is double-sided. What you're going to do is, when you get a commodity, you're going to write the second place value down on the other side. That rule was a little hard to understand for some of the people I was playing with, but I think that most people kind of grokked it once we got going here. One thing I wanted to look at here with the commodities is this gold token here. I didn't realize this before the game, but while we were playing, I noticed this. I was like, well, that looks like Lord of the Rings. And then all of this stuff in here, I kind of got a nerd chortle out of that. So they found some way to sneak in some Lord of the Rings nerdery into a game like QE here. All right, so there we have it. It's a good rule book in terms of getting information to you, but the journey to get there is a bit arduous. I wish that font size were bigger. I think that there's some things that they could be doing to break that 4-page barrier that seems just arbitrarily put onto all the ALLPLAY games that have been coming out. I do like a lot of the graphic design elements that go from the base game all the way to the expansion, but I wish there was a bigger font and maybe another 2 pages to just help explain the rules. That could have really helped me and the people that I was teaching the game to learn it a little faster. Now, that said, things that they've actually put onto the game do help explain it. You know, it is a weird game. You explain, hey, this is a bidding game where you can bid literally whatever you want. So it always kind of starts out where, oh, I'm going to bid 100 here, maybe 1,000. And then by the end, it's like, I've got $1 trillion on this agriculture. So it's an interesting game. And I think they've done well with, when the game is actually set up and on the table, how well you can teach it, just from kind of showing things as they come up and explaining them. So teaching this game is not too hard. I think the UI UX of it is way better than the rulebook itself. Yeah, once again, I don't want to keep harping on it, but having more pages I think would be better in a game like this, and having some of those color breakdowns to just kind of help explain these are the different sections. But Other than usability issues with the markers themselves, the game works great for teaching, and getting to the table I think will be easier if someone is more math inclined. The people that I taught it to, not so mathy, and I had to do a lot of math by myself, so hooray. But yeah, if you're interested, check that game out. I'm going to be discussing more of the UI, UX, and graphic design elements and layout design that go in with rule books. I find this incredibly fascinating of how they teach us to try and teach the game. So that's what we're going to be going into. If you have any ideas, please leave them in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you like. Any other comments are welcome, but hey, be nice. So yeah, with that, that's it for this episode. Thanks so much for stopping on by, and I look forward to catching you in the future. Have a great day.